No drum roll? Here we go.
Thank you, Andy. Good morning, all of you. With this presentation, we want to share with you our vitality mission. WACS and Unilever Food Solution have quite some commitments in common. Last Monday, this was confirmed again. We share a passion for food and for cuisines. We both also stimulate education in cooking. WACS wants to grow, and we as a company have also our ambitions. But we only want to grow if we can do this in a sustainable way, taking our social responsibilities. With this presentation, we want to share with you why and how we do this. In the end, we all want our guests to enjoy their food. We chefs respect very much that food is tasty, is safe, attractive. Isn't this what we stand for? But today the world is changing, and so are human beings. Nowadays, more and more people are aware of the fact that the food we eat relates very much to the healthiness and our well-being. This means we have to build up our knowledge. We chefs have to step up and embrace this trend and build up our knowledge in this area. And I personally strongly believe chefs and food companies can make a big difference if we bring this trend alive. But there's a dilemma. Yeah? We want the food to be tasty and we want the food to be healthy. So we don't want to compromise on taste. This means we have to find ways and build up our knowledge to make tasty food healthy. And if we put the knowledge of health and nutritionist, the specialist in this area, together with our chef knowledge, we can make the change happen. And we can measure our successfulness by answering two simple questions. Is the food tasty? And is the food healthy for my guest or for myself? Ria van der Maas, my colleague from the Health and Nutrition Institute, she will take you through a presentation reflecting our vitality vision. And together with Dirk Rogge, actually Dirk will cook a 3-course meal, and we'll give some explanation about the elements that we use here to make tasty and healthy dishes. Ria.
Thank you, Kees. I'm very happy to be here with all this culinary expertise, and I feel very small when I cook in my kitchen because I can only do very little compared to what you can do in your kitchen. Have a look at this picture. You see 4 people at a table and a chef. They are happy, they smile, they feel the pleasure of eating. Keep this picture in your mind because that's what we want to refer to all the time during this presentation. I want to show you why healthy eating is important, and as Kees already explained, there is this dilemma of is healthy also tasty and is tasty also healthy for a lot of people, especially in the Western world. I also want to show you how you as a chef can contribute to this healthy eating because you are a very important player. So you know my name. I am not the only nutritionist in Unilever. There's a network of about 100 nutritionists in the organization in all the countries. And we are very proud of that. And that's also a thing which is comparable with your organization, being global and having representatives in all the countries. First, a little bit about Unilever and the vitality mission. Unilever has a mission, a vitality mission, and that's not because there is no reason. We think all people want to feel good, want to look good and get more out of life nowadays. And vitality is the word we use to summarize that. Vitality is very broad, and therefore we defined 8 life goals. And you might think this is difficult. I won't touch on all of them, but for example, Feel Good Daily at the top of this circle is one of the life goals. And you can read some other ones, and each of you will have one or more life goal you want to achieve in life. Whether it's bringing up your children in a good way, whether it is look better or be free from health problems. Think, and you will find out that some of those will be in your mind as well, and not top of mind all day, but in your unconsciousness you will like to achieve one of these. Why would the food company work with this? Because this is something very close to people's heart, while food is a little bit different, although food is also very emotional, and that's why we think there is a link. If you can bring something in the food which helps people to achieve those life goals, it's relevant for people. Take, for example, the table again with the 4 people. I think they are served a salad, and it looks healthy. And I think it's tasty because the chef prepared it and he was smiling. So I think he has a very tasty dish. So 2 reasons to feel good. The one is it's a pleasure to eat, and the other one is maybe 1 or 2 of those people think vegetable eating is very important and they want to have their vegetables every day, and by this dish they can they know they have that 1 portion for that day eaten. So that's the reason why we think the life goals are important to use. Why is healthy eating so important? Well, I hope this is not new for you, but the world is full of people still malnourished or suffering from overnutrition. And you can see here the numbers of people dying from one or the other. And I was very happy to hear yesterday that you will contribute to feeding children in Africa, because the undernutrition is something we need to address, and we as Unilever also try to contribute there. In out-of-home eating, though, I think we focus more on the overnutrition, people getting too much sometimes or not the right things. But it's not only overweight, it's also high cholesterol, high blood pressure, problems people suffer from. But the consumers are worried. Not everybody yet. You can see here percentages, and they are worried about the vegetables in their diet, the fruit in their diet, and about the salt content. So off the table, remember the table with the 4 people, I think 1 or 2 is worried about one of these things, which is a good thing, because if we then offer something which helps to reduce, for example, the salt content or the salt intake, that will help the people to have a better health. Do we need to worry also out of home? The answer is yes. Otherwise, I would not have been here probably. But more and more people eat out. So the number of meals people eat out of home, in restaurants, at work, in school is increasing. And also sometimes it's a little bit less healthier than we eat at home. Here you see an example of the fat percentage out of home being a little bit higher than in home. So there is something for us to do. Healthy eating starts with nutrition and starts with nutrient evaluation of what you are eating and about guidelines based on nutrient levels. Think of what you had this morning for breakfast. Did you have some cereals? Did you have an English breakfast? Think what you had. Just a little exercise. From these cereals on the screen, which one do you think is relatively high in sodium and which are salt, or which is one relatively low in salt? Anybody? Maybe you've never been thinking about it, but if you see the numbers, the cereals are not, the regular cereals are quite high in salt content, while the muesli, for example, is lower. So if you choose muesli instead of the cornflakes, your salt intake for that day is lower. Think of what you would choose if you had a yogurt. This is easier to read for you maybe. There's a Greek yogurt very high in sodium, fat, and a low-fat yogurt very low in fat. Also the milk, and I think that's what most of you know. The whole milk is higher in fat than the skimmed milk. When it comes to cheese, there's a lot of cheeses listed on the top, and then the Greek are in more favorable place. The feta cheese is on the lower end of the scale than, for example, a cheddar. Sugar content. Different types of bread or cake. What would the sugar content be? What do you think is higher in sugar? What is lower in sugar? This is, I think you can also rely on your knowledge. Raisin bread, a muffin, cake kind of things, honey cake, very high in sugar compared to a brown bread or a cracker. Imagine you need, I can show you 10 more of these tables. Imagine you need to learn all these numbers. Well, that's not what we should aim for. Consumers don't know all these numbers. You as chefs don't know all these numbers. The only group in the population who needs to know them by heart are dietitians. And we cannot expect other people in our communities to learn